Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Michelle McHugh.
And Brad Calkins.
We are here in beautiful Santa Rosa, California, and looking forward to talking to you a little bit this evening about what makes Santa Rosa such a wonderful destination, especially for families. So first, want to just check in and make sure that we have all of our journalists tuned in. We've got 11 folks tuning in and following us today. We welcome you to tweet your questions live, and they'll be fed to me. So if you could please give us a little tweet, let us know you're there, and we'll kind of hang out for a second and wait for that confirmation before we start entertaining you.
Just hang out, huh?
Yeah, well, it is called a Google Hangout.
Okay.
Just a reminder also, if you're tweeting, our hashtag is SRFamilyFun. That's SRFamilyFun. Let's see how we're doing here.
We're in Santa Rosa and we're having fun. That's how we're doing.
Right. All right, so it looks like we're gonna just give it a minute. We've got a couple folks on, a couple more waiting. So let's see, we have some people that are gonna be on Eastern time, so it's 8 o'clock. Hopefully they're home and have already eaten dinner. And then others that are in sort of the Midwest, so a couple hours behind us.
So someone's cooking them dinner.
Right, hopefully.
Hopefully.
And for us, it's 5 o'clock and everybody just got out of work, and except for us.
Well, they always say it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so it's 5 o'clock in Santa Rosa.
Right. Thankfully for us, work is not work. Work is great.
Work is not tough when you're in Santa Rosa, that's for sure.
Right.
And you'll find out in the next hour how much fun it really is.
All right, so we've got a couple more folks on. And let's see. How many are we waiting on? By the way, my lovely assistant Chelsea is off screen, and you won't be able to see her. And then our other lovely assistant Amanda is going to be tweeting on behalf of Visit Santa Rosa. So if you want to give a shout out to our two ladies.
Can I give a shout out? Hi, Chelsea. Hi, Amanda. Does that count?
Yes.
It's not really a tweet.
From you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
hashtag hi, Amanda. Hashtag
yeah.
Fun. Hashtag hi, Chelsea. Hashtag SR Family Fun.
All right. Okay, looks like we have most of our people
All
now.
right, very good.
One of the big things that's news here in Santa Rosa this week is the launch of the first ever Peanuts movie, and that's happening on Friday, November 6th. So hope that you guys will all go out and see that. And why is that news for us in Santa Rosa?
Why is that news for us? That's a great question. That's news for us because Charles Schulz lives part of his life here. He was born in Minnesota, but then moved to Santa Rosa. And we also have the Charles M. Schulz Museum and Research Center here in Santa Rosa. Snoopy's Home Ice, one of the only indoor ice skating rinks north of the Golden Gate Bridge, and also the Snoopy gift shop.
So from Minnesota to Santa Rosa.
To Santa Rosa. He actually did a lot of his work here, and it's actually in the museum upstairs. It's great. You can actually see his drafting table. He actually did a lot of his cartoons.
And I'm sure that Minnesota is absolutely beautiful in an entirely different way, but it sounds a little chilly compared to what we've got here.
It is chilly compared to what we got here. We had beautiful weather here. Sunny, some rain, not too bad, but year-round weather for family fun, that's for sure. For hashtag SR Family Fun.
So how long did Schulz live here?
You know, that's a very good question, and I'm going to actually hold that off until we bring Gina from the Schulz Museum coming in, because she has more of the background, can tell us a little bit more about his life in the museum.
Okay, so some of the things when people are coming into Santa Rosa, that basically some of the first stuff they see is
actually right in front of us is a statue of Lucy. So there's quite a few statues of Lucy, Woodstock, and Charlie Brown throughout the entire county. And actually here at the Welcome Center, we have maps of where you can go and see them. And we actually have a Pinch Me Lucy that does the has the camera around her, the Aloha shirt, more your typical tourist Lucy here to
Right.
greet you as you come in.
And one of my favorite things is when you actually come into Santa Rosa Airport. We do have our own airport with direct flights from Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, and San Diego.
And in May, Orange County. Believe it, they just announced that yesterday.
Yes, very exciting. So you can get here all up and down the West Coast, and then you can connect in as well from San Francisco or Oakland, which basically means the world. So when you come into our own airport, you'll actually see Lucy's
the psychiatric booth. 5 cents for help,
Yes.
although our visitor information specialists are there, our volunteers, they don't charge you 5 cents for advice on what to do in Santa Rosa and Sonoma County.
It's free.
It's free.
Not even 5 cents.
Not even 5 cents.
Such a deal.
It is.
So with that said, I think we might want to introduce Gina from Schulz Museum, and we'll have lots more to talk about. There's many more things to Santa Rosa than just, not just, but than the Schulz story. So we'll be talking later with some of our other folks representing adventure, beer and wine, and so forth. But for now, Gina, would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. My name is Gina Hunsinger, and I'm the marketing director for the Schulz Museum. And I also work other parts of the Schulz campus, Snoopy's Home Ice, and actually Charles Schulz's studio.
Excellent. So what can visitors experience when they come to Santa Rosa that kind of immerses them in this history and the story of Charles Schulz?
Well, because this was his home for over 40 years, Sonoma County was, Santa Rosa for 30. He built the ice arena, Snoopy's Home Ice, in 1969 for the community. It's been open ever since. And then he built his art studio right there because he loved it so much. So really his whole life was centered for the last 30 years right here in Santa Rosa.
He was a big hockey fan, I hear.
He was a hockey player. He actually had a senior hockey tournament that's still happening today.
Yes.
It happens every summer.
It happens every summer, and I think people come from across the country,
Yes.
the coast. We have quite a few Canadian teams.
Absolutely fabulous hockey players. And some of them are even 90 years old.
Yep. And
So
then on
that's
President's Day weekend, we have the kids, the junior hockey tournament that comes every year, President's Day weekend. So all ages of the family, from the
Right.
Pee-wees down to the 90 years
and
old.
great-grandparents, possibly.
Yeah.
Right. Depending if they play hockey. But
Right.
the thing that's really wonderful about the Schulz campus is that you really are immersed in his life. I mean, this is really where he spent the majority of his time. He didn't spend a lot of time traveling. So this is really it. And the reason why the museum's here as opposed to Tokyo or New York, where it could be, is because they really wanted to celebrate that this was his home turf right here. And those people who are in Minnesota, because they're very, very loyal to Schulz too, he was born there, and that is absolutely fabulous too. So just need to shout out to those people in the Midwest.
So when we've got families coming into town, especially with kids, the Schulz Museum is kind of a must-see stop for them, right? So what are some of the things that they'll experience when they go to the museum, and what kinds of activities can they engage in?
Well, at the museum, they can run in Snoopy's labyrinth, and it's his head, which is really fun. We have
His head?
We have his labyrinth in the shape of his head, and right now there's interactive exhibition right now of the Peanuts movie itself. So you can actually sit on top of Snoopy's doghouse, put on his goggles and his cap, and fly
wonderful.
over Paris.
We've got to get some photos.
I wanna do that.
You need to
social
come.
media
You need
about
to
that.
come and do that because it's super fun, and adults and kids are both climbing up on the doghouse and doing this. So
Is there a Facebook page or Twitter or something
Yes.
for the museum where
Yes.
people can go see some photos?
we're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and it's Schulz Museum. So it's real simple.
Great.
And the other thing that you can do is there's drawing. You can actually try your hand at cartooning. We have classes and such like that, but we also have the Warm Puppy Cafe where people can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they can go ice skating. So if you're deciding to come to Santa Rosa, you should look on both of our websites and see what time public skate is. If not, if you don't really want to get on ice skates, you can just sit in the warm cafe by the fire and watch people skating.
And have your root beer float, of course.
Absolutely.
And your chocolate chip cookie.
And your Charlie brownies.
And your Charlie brownies.
Yeah. So.
Excuse me. So we're getting a lot of great commentary on Twitter, and if you guys, by the way, if you have any questions specifically for any of us, just go ahead and tweet them in, and I'll feed them over to Gina and our other destination representatives. So just FYI, we're engaging with you in real time. The beauty of social media. So tell me a little bit more about the studio. I believe there are some artists in residence that spend time.
So we have about 20 for Charles Schulz's studio, and he set that up probably in the 70s to oversee all of the art and product that's made with the characters. He wanted to make sure they were actually how they should look, and so they look at products and make sure that they're okay, but they also deal with art that maybe Charles Schulz hadn't drawn. So with the new Peanuts movie, they were consulted quite a bit as to, what the character should look like, what Lucy's dress, what color, what the shoes are like. Every little detail that Charles Schulz drew, they wanted to make sure that it was very much to the strip and what Charles Schulz actually did. So they do that, 5 days a week and all year long, because there's that much stuff happening for Peanuts in the world.
And there's actually a broad arts culture and community in Santa Rosa, right?
Very much so,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, even was it Tom Everhart who did some great pictures of the Schulz Museum, or not a Schulz Museum, but a Snoopy and everything like that. So as an artist, there's some great artwork out there. He's displayed in quite a few places, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Charles Schulz allowed him in his will to use his characters in his art. And Yoshi Antani is a Japanese artist, and his pieces are in the museum. They're large and gorgeous. You can see those as well, but those are the two people that were actually allowed to use in their particular art.
Right. So I'm going to just kind of pop this question on you. But one thing that people always want to know when they're coming into a new destination is really to hear from the insiders, people who really know the destination. What are some of your favorite things to see and do
In Santa Rosa? I actually am a nature lover, so I think they should go to Annandale and hike. I think they should go to Howard Park and go to the lake there and boat and kayak. There's lots of, I like to run, so I think there's lots of running trails.
Annandale is, so what kind of hike is that? Is it like beginner?
You can do, it's all levels.
All of them, yeah.
It's all levels. You can do flat, you can do it on cement, you can go up. So yeah, it's totally safe. And actually it's all levels. You can paddle boat, you can kayak, you can actually, the paddle boards where you stand up, you can do, and they actually have canoes too, for those who like to do the old fashioned.
And is your favorite Santa Rosa restaurant the Warm Puppy Cafe?
Absolutely. You can get your bowl.
You can actually get it in a Snoopy bowl, right?
Absolutely.
You can get anything from chili cheese fries to your hot dog in a Snoopy bowl.
Is it like no hands allowed when you eat? Do you have to,
Oh my
or can you
goodness.
use it? Are you allowed to use
You're
a fork?
allowed.
Okay.
You're allowed to do that.
Children are encouraged to use
To use
hands or forks.
utensils,
whatever
yeah.
works the best.
And there's French fries. It's actually hand food. There's hot dogs, pizza.
We've had a few lunches there.
Yeah.
We go over there for staff lunches and have some fun. It's just something different and fun to do.
Yeah, it's fun to watch the ice skaters.
Yeah, watch the free skaters or the hockey players practicing for the tournaments.
Fantastic. So you have the interactive exhibit going on right now in celebration of the film. Where are people going to be able to see that?
So inside the museum, there's 3 different changing exhibitions right now. It's really fun to come and see. It's the 65th anniversary of Peanuts 2. Lots of anniversaries. It's actually the 50th anniversary of A Charlie Brown Christmas, which is the animated special.
And we're coming up on the holidays, so it's a perfect time
It's a good time.
bring out
Everybody
that
remembers
classic.
the Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Yes.
How can you not know that?
And we will have a Christmas tree patch to come and take photos at in the lobby. But it's the evolution of the strip right now. So the main characters were showing how they changed over 50 years. They really did change. Snoopy was on all fours in the 50s. He looked like, in fact, maybe I can show them this.
Yeah.
Can you see that? I don't know how close you can get it, but show them that picture. He acted like a dog in the 50s. In the 60s, he got up on top of his doghouse and he became the fantasy that we all know and love. He could do anything he wanted. It is the 50th anniversary of him acting as the flying ace. And so we have Snoopy and the Red Baron. And I have a Red Baron t-shirt on. See?
All right.
First shoe Red Baron. But we have that exhibition right now, and it's all the history of that actually. And then we have a behind the scenes of the new Peanuts movie, how they actually took Schulz's pen line and incorporated it into a 3D CGI movie, which was a feat. It took them a year to make just Charlie Brown.
Wow.
And they spent a lot of time, and the art is amazing. If you look at the movie this weekend or whenever you see it, you can actually see Charles Schulz's line at times in the movie. It's amazing how they did that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Also, we're going to have coming up, because the Super Bowl is coming.
Super Bowl, that's right.
Super Bowl 50.
San Francisco Bay Area, Super Bowl 50.
Is coming to San Francisco and Santa Clara. And so we have an exhibition about it's football, Charlie Brown. Of course, football is a big deal in the strip.
Yeah.
And Charlie Brown
Did he
never
ever get to kick that ball?
No.
No.
Charles Schulz actually felt a little bad at the end of his life. He's like, he never got to kick the football. But it's good that he didn't, because we all love that Charlie Brown persevered, even though things went bad every day for him.
Yeah.
So he's a big hero in that way. Then it's now coming up, if you come later in the year, around political season, we have Snoopy for president and You're Not Elected, Charlie Brown. So those are other exhibitions that we have that are coming along this year. You can look on our website and see some of those things at whatever time people are coming.
So the exhibitions really change with the seasons and with the news cycle and.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And if there's an anniversary coming up, like we lots of times try to hook up with that, just because people are excited about it at the time.
You have such an amazing archive of art.
We have 8,000 of his strips in our collection, and he did 17,897 strips in his lifetime.
Wow.
And cartoonists always gasp when they hear that, because that's 50 years of 7 days a week deadlines.
Yes.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's dedication.
Yeah. But he loved it. That was the thing he loved to do. So.
Any key takeaways that you want to make sure that our journalists know?
I just think if you ever have questions, you can certainly call me at the museum and ask me. I'm there. We'll help you do whatever you want. If you need artwork or that type of thing, we're there to help you. And other than that, I just think it's great. The other thing we didn't talk about is that you're immersed in Peanuts in the entire town, because there's over 70 statues here.
70.
Over 70. I just counted them today when we were talking about this. They're all over, and it's
all decorated in 70 different ways. Yeah.
Right.
So.
And you have a Thanksgiving dinner event coming up?
Yes, we have a Feast with Snoopy event, and it's on November 14th this year. And what we did is, at the 40th anniversary of a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, we celebrated it with a recreation of Snoopy's feast in the animated special. And it's a terrible feast. It's popcorn, pretzels, jelly beans.
Sounds like
You're talking to families here. You know the kids are thinking like, hey, that's the perfect feast.
I have never heard a kid complain.
Yeah, who wants turkey and stuffing when you can have popcorn? And
It's absolutely fabulous. We play the animated special on the big screen all afternoon. Snoopy comes, and they get to make. It's an absolute fabulous celebration for Thanksgiving, and it's a couple weeks before, so you can be back home and really cooking your Thanksgiving meal.
This is the time of year when I'm always thinking of Charlie Brown, because we just had Halloween, and I remember watching It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown on TV, and actually went as the Great Pumpkin here.
Very nice.
I didn't win any costume contests, but
Can we ask Chelsea to put up those pictures? Do we have them by chance?
we do not have them.
We do give out rocks sometimes. You know, Charlie Brown always got
the
rocks. Everybody else got candy, and Charlie Brown always got a rock.
Oh. Are they at least flavored edible rocks?
No, they're just rocks, but we have a sticker
Just
that says, "I got a rock," which is super cute. So they get the sticker and the rock.
Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
for spending
Thank you.
some time with
Thank
us,
you.
It's an
Gina.
honor to be here. So Snoopy's gonna leave because I think
Snoopy's
we
gonna
have
go,
other
yeah.
fabulous things to
Okay.
show.
Bye,
Thank you.
Snoopy.
Bye, Snoopy.
Gina.
Thanks, Gina.
And who is our next guest?
Well, more family fun.
Mm-hmm.
We have
Safari
from Safari
West.
West.
All right. This is going to be pretty exciting,
This is,
guys.
yes,
There are live animals.
yes.
Snoopy was a precursor to what's his name?
To Sir Lancelot.
Ursula.
Sir Lancelot.
And Sir Lancelot is here representing his larger cousins from Safari West, which is a fantastic zoo facility here in Santa Rosa, where we have all species or all sorts of African animals. So we have much larger porcupines, Safari West, but he's a little easier to take on talk shows. He doesn't quite weigh 40
Right.
pounds.
40 pounds.
Okay, and I'm sorry, who are the humans
Human.
behind
Yeah,
this?
we get straight to the animals. Straight to wanting to pet the porcupines.
He's a pretty fantastic.
I'm Aphrodite Caserta, the marketing director for Safari West.
And I'm Lynette Lyon. I'm actually their outreach ambassador for
Wow.
Safari West.
And yes,
He's
pet a
not the
porcupine from front to back.
He's one of my star ambassadors. I just get to speak with him. Nobody pays attention though. It's you
Yeah,
guys.
see, now we're already, what? I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm petting a porcupine. What were you talking about?
Okay, so what in the world is Safari West?
Safari West is actually an African wildlife preserve and tent camp right in Santa Rosa. We are a little piece of Africa, the Sonoma Serengeti, and we're located right outside of Santa Rosa. Right in the Santa Rosa hills, there are actual giraffes.
Santa Rosa Hills.
Yeah, there is some giraffes, rhinos. There's a lot of wild animals running around Santa Rosa.
Many
We have them all at Safari
animals,
West.
right?
We have all the different types of animals.
Yeah,
The
bird
African
species,
animals.
zebras, I've seen.
We have
I
everything
mean,
from
it's incredible.
Adax to zebra. We do not have elephants. We do not have elephants, but we do have rhinos. And as I said, beautiful, tall, towering giraffes.
Of
Yeah.
course, cheetahs and
Cheetahs.
Oh, cheetahs.
servals,
oh.
caracals. I'm partial to predators myself, so have to mention them.
So this is, you said it's a preserve, so no cages, right?
The Safari West, the lower grounds of Safari West actually look like a zoological garden because we are a member, we are actually accredited by the American Zoos and Aquariums Association. Though we are a private facility, so we're not like your typical zoo. When you come to Safari West, you're literally going on safari.
Mhm.
You are being transported into another world, we hope so.
And
when
you're
you
in
go to the
jeeps,
gates.
open air jeeps?
They're
or-
African, they're not actual Jeeps, they're safari vehicles.
Uh-huh.
They're rugged. People love them as much as they love our animals. They each have a name and children ride on top. They get a chance to get close up and personal with giraffes. I mean, there is probably nothing more exciting to a child than to be able to actually count the stripes on the zebra,
Wow.
to look into a giraffe's eyes and see the long
And to see the
eyelashes.
big tongue coming at
To
you.
see that
Right.
big slobbery tongue coming at you, they absolutely giggle with delight.
Adults do too. Trust me.
I've seen
We've
you
taken,
giggle
we've
with
taken my
delight,
wife on
I
a safari, and when that
giraffe
giraffe tongue came out and almost licked her, yeah.
I never
She
get
could go like a
tired.
little girl too.
Of
Yeah,
course, you
yeah.
didn't, obviously.
No, I was trying to get a picture of it. I was trying to get the camera out. It wasn't
He
quite quick
giggled
enough.
like a grown man, gosh darn it.
Yeah.
And in an adult fashion.
In an adult
In
fashion.
an adult fashion.
Well, speaking of adult fashions, you also do have some adult tours, like the Buffaloes and Brews and the Wine and Winos.
We do. We have a Rhinos and Wino and Rhino. And I always get confused when I say that real quickly. We're in wine country, so guests that come to visit us, we're hoping that the families that visit wine country stop off at Safari West, because that gives the children a chance to taste some adventure that the parents are tasting as well,
Right.
but a different sense of adventure. We're having the wine on the safari where you have a chance to view Cape Buffalo coming down the hillside, or a group of wildebeest coming over the.
What a completely
horizon. I mean,
unique experience.
Well, it's it was built by Peter and Nancy Lang. It's their home. It's where they chose to live. It's how they chose to live their lives. They did not buy a zoo. They literally built a zoo, and not a zoo. They built an African park. It's absolutely incredible when you think about it. It's just evolved so much, and I just think it's become so incredible.
What about the families that love to stay down by the flamingos in your tent cabins that are still good for the
Oh,
adults
yeah,
because
guys, this is really, really unique.
you got indoor plumbing and bathrooms, but you still have the outdoor feel for the kids, and the flamingos
we've heard
making
of,
noise.
You guys have heard of
Flamingos making
glamping,
noise.
right?
Yeah.
This glamping thing is a trend. This is
Yeah.
glamping.
It is glamping, most definitely. And families love to spend the night. It's a way for them to connect because we're unplugged. There's no TV in the tents. There is no radio, nothing else but connecting with nature and the sounds outside, and families getting together and just, there's nothing better than walking in the evening and just hearing the sounds of the Serengeti. And they are definitely the sounds of the Serengeti. When you first walk in, it sounds like Tarzan. It's absolutely incredible. The flamingos, though, I have to admit, are a bit noisy. And,
Well, they're pink. They're so.
they're flamboyant. They're absolutely flamboyant, but they never quiet down. They never quiet down and go to sleep. But a lot of the kids love it. We always had a joke one time, and the owners, Nancy said, "I don't think you can do that. If you can survive the night with the flamingos, we were going to have a T-shirt made up that I survived the night with the flamingos because they're so noisy and cute."
So you said tent structures, right, with their own deck that's looking out over the giraffe enclosure
Exactly.
with pretty glamorous
Camping.
Yeah.
There was the in-suite bathrooms, but the beds themselves are just, they absolutely.
They're so
involve
comfortable.
around you. Yeah,
They're
just
so comfortable.
and
King size
warm.
beds.
And hard view of either giraffes, so you have a view of the
Lake,
lakes.
yeah, the beautiful view of the lake.
And so there are wood floors when you get up. And so you walk out on your deck and you have a view of either giraffes, so you have a view of the lakes.
Lake, yeah, the beautiful view of the lake.
And so you're just immersed in a piece of nature, a piece of Africa. But it's in the Sonoma County, it's in Santa Rosa.
And so being Sonoma County and Santa Rosa, there's a foodie and wine and beer component to this as well. In addition to the tours, right? You have a pretty amazing restaurant there.
Our restaurant, the Savannah Grill, actually serves all of our guests because when we're there, we want them to have a full experience. One of the experiences of Safari West is connecting with each other, connecting with nature. We really feel very strong about conservation, and we feel that we're all in a circle together. That means all of our animals, our human beings, our parents, our giraffes, our rhinos, we're all one big circle, and we want that connection to carry over to their experience. So we like to have them there for dinner. They have a chance to talk to one another, share their experience, what they enjoyed on the safari.
Guest speakers,
Yeah.
fantastic guest speakers.
We
from
have
all
the
sorts of
lectures in the
programs.
evening. We have conservation lectures in the evening. Our food is not, it's Safari West barbecue.
But it's an open pit barbecue
Yes.
they do usually tri-tip and chicken
And
right on the
chicken.
grill.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's a lot of guests tease us that we do not barbecue any game.
No.
This is all domestic chicken.
And the fan favorite for the kids when it comes to mealtime, s'mores.
Oh,
Because
that's
there's
right,
nothing
because of the
better than
fireplace,
animals
that's right.
and sugar
Yeah.
at night. So it's
Well, it's a good thing because they're not going to sleep anyway with the flamingos.
Yeah, exactly.
we'll just keep going.
Yes. So are we going to bring up?
Would you like me to bring
We
on
have
my
another-
second guest?
We have another
Yes.
I
cutie.
know, he's so darn, you're so
Bye,
nice.
Sir Lancelot.
Bye,
You're
yes.
such a doll.
Thanks a lot.
That was the low energy
Yes.
friend, right? I sense that we have somebody who might.
Someone who's a little more active.
Oh,
He's not quite sure about the slippery table, so we gave him some placemats.
He likes the
earlier.
placemats, yes.
This is Chaka.
Hi, Chaka.
You can actually see his parents at Safari
I
West.
really want to bring the camera over, but I don't want to mess
Mess it up.
Oh,
Look in the camera, Chuck.
He's
Over
gotta
there.
see this.
Over there, yeah, over
Okay,
there.
we're
See, right there.
Now,
Oh,
if you do visit them at Safari West, you'll hear all about them from the fantastic guides who just know so much about each of the individual animals up there. And we can all name them, and they know so much about them. These guys have the largest ears in proportion to their body of all canines. So all
Wow.
members of the dog family. And see, he's using them.
Yeah.
Listen to the porcupine. They actually hunt pretty specifically using those ears. I like how mellow he's being for you
Yeah,
guys.
he
This
is.
is really nice.
He's had a long day.
It's rough.
It's
being-
5
Yeah,
o'clock.
it's 5 o'clock.
It's
It's
wine
not.
time.
Work is over.
We're done. That was a hard day. But they're actually the smallest member of the canine family as well. So they max out at around 2.5 pounds. They're found pretty specifically in the Sahara Desert.
And so how many of his family members would we find at Safari West?
You'll find 2 of them that are on display at Safari West that are actually part of the walking tour.
Okay. So there's a walking tour and then there's the safari vehicle tour. So what do people see when they're walking?
When they're walking, you'll see the lemurs, you'll get to walk through the aviary and see a lot of the different species of birds there, some species of wild cats. So again, the cheetahs, you'll get to see the serval cats, which are these beautiful small spotted cats. Of course, the fennec foxes. If they're out and about and you can see them from the side, the hyenas, and of course, Sir
Oh,
Lancelot's
That's right.
cousins.
Hyenas,
The
yeah.
hyenas are just unreal.
Aren't they cool?
They are. They just look like this machine that nature created.
Strongest jaw of all land mammals. So, I mean, they're crushing right through, not at Safari West, of course,
Of course.
but in the wild.
Wild, yeah.
Buffalo bones. I
Yeah.
mean, they
Right.
can really use
So they're
those
not in the
jaws.
same
Closure
enclosure
as other.
the buffalo, because
I
that's
hope
not
not.
family friendly.
Yeah,
That's not
sure
something
hope
the
not.
kids are going to see at Safari West.
You know, it is explained, of course, the natural order and, what they're going to be eating. So,
Right.
oh, they're going to eat meat, but
Right.
no, we don't often have people observe that particular trait.
Gotcha.
So what does this guy eat?
He actually is an omnivore, so he's going to eat all manner of food, so fruits and vegetables as well as meats. That's what I give him because he lives, at our facility. However, in the wild, he's going to eat anything he can get a hold of. So mice, bats, birds, bats, snakes, lizards, roots, grasses, fruits, veggies. Woo,
He's very adaptable.
I got that.
very adaptable.
I didn't know I could touch him.
You can touch him.
Well, if we can, I'm in big trouble already. Oh, well. Oops.
He'll let you know if you can't touch him. No, I'll let you know if you can't touch him.
Now, I know we've been talking about family friendly, but we also have the the Valentine's Day special.
Oh,
Can
Tell
I
us-
talk about that? I thought this
That's
was
30
family
I was going to
friendly.
mention it.
Give us a 30-second version of the adult tours.
Mom and Dad are the head of the family.
Mom and Dad
so-
on their own, yes.
It is the ins and outs of animal courtship. Actually, it is our only sex tour that we have. I think probably the only sex tour in Santa Rosa, isn't that
Wow.
correct?
Yeah, that's probably right.
We kind of deviate from our educational tour and put a different twist on it, and we talk about animal courtship in all its different ways. And it's a educational, fun. It's a hoot. It's actually a hoot.
Do you want my
You aren't really able to kind of experience it that much because the animals do what they want to do whenever they want
Sure.
to do it.
preferably
But
not
if
on
you're
display?
out on safari, you might get the opportunity to see some giraffes at play or some zebras at play. We call it our wild jungle love. We do it only once a year.
Once a
Only.
year, around Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
That
our
sounds
Valentine's
fantastic.
Day, rumble in the jungle at Safari West on Valentine's Day.
I love that. So you're open year round?
Yes, we are for tours, not for lodging.
Okay.
For lodging, we're closed January, February, but for tours, safaris, you can go on safari year round.
Okay. And so how would people book accommodations and tours?
Safari West is by reservation only. That's very critical to understand. Even though we are a zoo, we are by reservation only, meaning that we account for every guest that comes on property. You can go directly to our website and book, or you can call us up directly. But it's very,
And what's your URL?
SafariWest.com.
SafariWest.com. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen.
Gentlemen.
For
Thank
being
you.
with us.
Thank you so
This
Thank
was
you.
spectacular.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay, so that's pretty hard to follow up, but fortunately we have so much else to offer in Santa Rosa.
We do.
And I would say the big story of Sonoma County in general, and specifically Santa Rosa, is that we really are wine country, and Santa Rosa is the heart of wine country here. So with everything that goes along with that.
Yes, so I don't know if we have Merlot Mommy on the chat here and but yes, definitely a wine country, and it doesn't have to be just Merlot. It can be your Cabernet, your Zinfandels, your Chardonnays, your whites, your dry whites, you name it. And I also know that we have a few beer lovers here, because Santa Rosa is also, being the city in Sonoma County, is really what we call Beer City. Some great breweries. Many of you have heard of Russian River Brewery. That's right here in Santa Rosa. They've won Beer of the Year for quite a few years.
With the Pliny the Elder,
Pliny the
all of the
Elder,
beer
yeah.
geeks out there just went, oh!
And Third Street Ale Works is going to be celebrating 20 years next year. So we've got quite a few olds. They've won, the Dry Irish Stout has won gold medals at the World Beer Awards. And then everything you've probably, the beer people will probably know Lagunitas down in Petaluma, just a short drive. And then up to Healdsburg, it's Bear Republic Brewery. So many of you beer people would know Racer 5.
Yep. Oh, I know Racer 5.
And again, for the wines, I think there's just over, let me get my list out, but it's over 400 wineries open to the public for tasting. So
Right.
if you are a beer or wine person, which is really wine country, and also a lot of food.
And there's something for everybody, including families that want
Yes.
to, if mom and dad are interested in exploring wine country, there are wineries and wine tasting experiences that are kid friendly.
And I think that's what really does make this wine country a little bit different than some of the other wine countries, is that, Benzinger is a great one. They're biodynamic, and you ride around on a tram, and they take you around, but it's a tram, because it's biodynamic, it smells like French fries, because they use the old oil, the recycled oil, to take the tram. But you really do get to see a property. You hear about insects, so it's more of a learning experience than just a wine experience.
Right.
Francis Ford Coppola has a great pool. Yeah, a great chance to. But if you want your cabana, you do have to make a reservation in advance.
Right. That's
So
quite
the kids can swim. There's lifeguards, but you can also have more than just a hot dog. Some really good food from the restaurant Rustic while you're there, or partake in a little bit of wine while the kids or family is out swimming and doing the cabana thing. So,
and dad and movie buffs in the family
Yeah.
will swoon over all of the Francis Ford Coppola memorabilia.
you can see the
movie
Godfather
buffs.
desk, the
Right.
Tucker car, quite a few different things like that.
Yeah, I think there are many photos on social media of folks doing their best Godfather impression at Coppola.
Coppola,
Winery.
yeah. And then right here in Santa Rosa, Paradise Ridge Winery. Great
Stunning.
art collection, so you can sort of just walk through the artwork and the whole property. It's all over the property. But something a little bit different they did that you can do with your families is that there's self-guided tours to the vineyards that have little plaques. So you just follow the signs and follow the vineyard. So you just go on a little bit family walk. You enjoy the views, but then the parents can do a little bit of reading about what's happening in the vineyards and what's going on. And
there's a reason it's called Paradise Ridge.
Paradise Ridge. It's probably the most beautiful sunset you'll ever see from a winery.
Right, and you're just perched against the hillside, looking out over all of Sonoma County. So it's really quite a stunning place to start or end your day, or do a little cheese and wine pairing.
And actually, they do a fun thing. Kids love pizza. We know they love pizza. Paradise Ridge actually does on certain days pizza and wine tasting. And you can get 2 pizzas, one for the adults and one for the kids. And it's actually in 4 different sections. And you go through and you taste a Sauvignon Blanc with a little bit with one slice of the pizza, then a Chardonnay, then usually a Pinot, and then their cappers in. So, the parents can enjoy a sip of wine and really see how it pairs together versus the kids. just pizza.
Right.
And they have the pizza oven right there, so it's all done right there.
And I've heard for little kids, because there's this pervasive art theme at Paradise Ridge, that they'll provide kids with crayons.
Yeah,
to create
they
their
have
own
crayons,
art.
so they can do their own little artwork there to keep them busy and having fun too. So
That's great.
yeah,
And so for maybe the sort of hip mom and dads who know Burning Man, they can see some of the artwork that was at Burning Man,
Burning
right?
Man, yep, exactly.
At,
They have a couple places, and they actually have a Transcendence Theater. One of our local theaters does shows in both Jack London State Park and there at Paradise Ridge Winery. It's outdoor theater, so it's good for the whole family. Different themes at different times. They do a lot of musicals, a lot of singing and dancing. And in fact, there's one at Jack London State Park that they do. They actually do a kids one where they bring in local school children. They're part of the show also. So you can do all of that.
And then we have Matanzas Creek, which is kind of a maybe an experience for older kids and moms and dads to go picnic, and they can learn all about their lavender.
Great lavender garden.
Yeah.
They have a great lavender fest, and it's actually a great picnic area. Another popular thing to do is pick up some picnic items on the way, and then stop by and hit Matanzas Creek Winery and just buy some wine and sit and relax and enjoy it as a family.
So one thing that Chelsea is reminding me about is that there's craft root beer tasting available for kids.
Yes, actually, I think that's at 3rd Street Ale Works does the craft root beer. So quite a few places do that style. I think.
So we can hone their palates early.
Yeah, start them,
Yes.
or just get to enjoy root beer. Try it at Snoopy's Home Ice and try a craft root beer and see if they can tell us the difference between the root beers.
Right. So there's a whole farm to table movement that's really iconic of Sonoma County, and Santa Rosa is really a great place to kind of experience that. And we've got like the Heirloom Tomato Festival. And can you talk about some of like the farmers markets and some of those food festival experiences?
We actually have a farmers market almost every day during the summer, depending on what area you're in. There's quite a few farmers markets year round. The Heirloom Tomato Festival is a fun way to try tomatoes in a different food and wine festival for a lot. And I think Santa Rosa has a very large selection of restaurants that are very much the more the farm to table freshness style,
Right.
and it can cater to all the different palates. So the Bib Gourmand just came out from Zagat, and Santa Rosa had quite a large number, whether it's a Peruvian restaurant. So, you don't have to do everything. Doesn't have to be the fancy goat cheese and duck and stuff like that with wine. You can have all those different.
Sounds terrible, by the way.
I know, it is terrible. There's Rosso Pizzeria, great pizza. Again, you can have the pizza with the egg on it for the adults and the simple pepperoni pizza for the kids, so you can get your choice. Doesn't matter what you're looking for, you can find it here in Santa Rosa. All the way up to the John Ash, with the
Right.
couple $100 bottle of wine, or the fancy, wine list type thing, or craft cocktails.
Everything from very kind of basic street food type of experiences on up to the finest California cuisine.
You will find the best $1.25 taco trucks you've ever had in Santa Rosa. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
In fact, that might be dinner tonight after
I was
we're
going to
done.
say that sounds pretty good, because I definitely eat a lot of the California cuisine, which is just a terrible part of my job.
It is a tough part.
Yeah.
But sometimes a good taco or a quick taco on the way out is a good way to go, especially for a family budget too. So
am I allowed to ask, what are some of your favorite places to eat? I know it's kind of like asking you to choose a favorite child.
you have to ask me what mood I'm in and what I feel like, because
Okay.
it keeps changing.
So right now I know you're in the mood for tacos. Lunch. What's your favorite lunch spot?
Well, lunch we just did it yesterday was National Sandwich Day.
Oh.
So we did Max Kosher Deli, a kosher deli in downtown Santa Rosa. Of course, it's the one you have to line up because it's pretty busy at lunchtime. I had my pastrami on rye with tomato and special sauce, as they call it. So it all depends on what mood you're in for lunch or dinner, and what you're feeling like. We do that all the time with my wife. I'm like, what are you feeling like for dinner tonight?
And do some of the wineries have restaurants?
Coppola has, there's only a couple, believe it or not.
Coppola, yes.
Coppola is one, and they're working on another one.
Okay.
There's only 3 licenses in all of Sonoma County
Mm-hmm.
that allow wineries to have restaurants. The best part about Rustic is the food, though. I mean, you can't go wrong. Kids will be happy. Adults will be happy. It's very good food.
Right.
So.
Right. And for those who love Guy Fieri, they can experience some of his restaurants here in Santa Rosa. This is his hometown.
This is his hometown. So if you want that Tex Wasabi's, that rock and roll sushi barbecue, you can have that here. It's actually, we're at the Welcome Center here in 4th Street in the heart of historic Railroad Square, and that's in downtown, just walking distance from where we are. So
after you've had all of that wine, where do you go to get a good cup of coffee?
my favorite place is actually a place called Brew Coffee. It just opened up. It's only been open for a year. It's in downtown Santa Rosa, and they do a couple things different. You can do your coffees, but they do a great job with pour-over coffees. Mm-hmm. So not your typical coffee, but for those of you who are beer fans, they actually do a nitro coffee.
Nitro coffee.
So it's a nitrogen coffee, and there's no alcohol in it. But when they pour it, it's actually a cold brewed coffee, and it comes out very foamy, so you don't need any cream or sugar. So if you're a cappuccino fan or a latte fan, and you want to try something with a little bit more coffee flavor, it's a fun thing to do. And at nighttime, it turns into a craft beer place.
Great.
So it's coffee in the morning, craft beer, and some local wines in the evening. So that's a fun place. We have quite a few. There's tailor-made coffee in the Barlow if you want to go more for a coffee scene and sit around and watch people too.
And you said the spot that you recommended is in
Brew is in downtown Santa Rosa, just on the other side of Railroad Square.
And so Santa Rosa City, the part that probably most of our visitors are going to experience, is kind of divided into two, like the main downtown and then the historic Railroad Square, which is actually where we are
right now
at the California Welcome Center. So around us here in Railroad Square, walking distance from our hotels, you've got
restaurants, you've got places for a drink, you've got shops, you've got plenty of activities. You've got the Prince Memorial Greenway for a walk that will take you there. People will rent bikes at some of our local hotels and take a bike ride along there. In fact, bikes, we should probably talk to Randy about Speaking of bike rides.
Come on down.
Come on down, Randy.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing this evening?
Randy's with Getaway Adventures.
Yes, and I am indeed the bike guy.
The bike guy, the kayak guy,
hiking guy,
the hike guy.
Anything outdoors.
As you can see, he's fit and ready to roll. So tell us what you do and how you got.
So how did I get to where I am? Okay, well, let's give you a little background, because Sonoma County and Santa Rosa in particular is fabulous for outdoor activities. I mean, the Joe Rodota Trail. In fact, it's one of the few places that has a real live trail in the entire wine country. That's all North Bay included. So that's fabulous, particularly if you have kids, that you want to do a nice, easy, mellow ride. That trail's fantastic. It's totally separated from the main road. It's an old railroad, totally safe. Yeah. Old railroad right away used to connect Santa Rosa, Petaluma, Forestville, and Sebastopol. And it's now been paved over, and it's fully separated from vehicles. So you can go at your leisure. We take a lot of families out there.
And what are you seeing as you're cycling?
Big oak trees, fields, vineyards. It's just an incredible place. And as we all know, people live here. We call this the world's perfect weather.
Right.
It's always beautiful.
So
always average 74 degrees.
70 degrees.
Occasionally rain here and there just to keep it green a little bit. But by and large, it's perfect weather from mid-May to about mid-October. It's amazing stuff. So if you have families, if you have kids, come out bike, come out and kayak. Kayaking's great for kids. I mean, I know most people come out here for the wine, but if you just, your kids and they don't really care about wine too much, a kayak trip is a wonderful way just to experience going through the area.
And where are you kayaking?
So there's a couple places to go kayaking. The number one place for us is the Russian River, because there's such a diversity of places you can go. So number one would be from Healdsburg to Wohler Bridge, about 8.5 miles, class 1 rapids. I call it more of a float than anything else.
Okay.
Enough to keep you excited, but not too much to scare you off. And you can stop. There's beaches. You can swim in this wonderful, clean, silky, wonderful water. Skip stones. You can do all sorts of fun stuff. Next up is Jenner. Jenner is out on the coast. That's more like a lake paddle because there's really no current whatsoever. But you will go out to the coast and you see the dramatic Sonoma
Yeah,
County
we
coastline.
haven't even talked about the Sonoma County coastline.
Oh, it's
And
insane. It's beautiful.
There's so much to talk about.
whale
The
watching
redwoods.
season is coming up. Yeah,
Right.
the
Whale watching
redwoods on the
season.
way. Yeah, you're right. But the outdoor, Bodega Bay.
Watching whales at Bodega Bay.
Yeah, so
But
it really is an
Jenner's
outdoor.
It's
Yeah.
an incredible place. In fact, the fun thing about, we usually take double boats, so the parent and the child can be in a boat together. You paddle out. Pretty soon, all of a sudden, you look around and boom, up comes a little head. And what is that? It's a little harbor seal popping up to see who you are and check you out.
Wants to know what's going on.
And you're like, oh, that's cool. Now, we can't go after them. There's a certain amount of distance we have to keep from them. But if they come to you, it's a whole different story. So you'll see them all over the place. And then you finally paddle up to the mouth of the river, and you'll see them all laying there, lounging in the sun, just having a good old time. And then just we get out, we kind of keep our distance. We walk out, look at the ocean. The ocean at this point is pretty mellow, in most cases. And then walk along the beach and then come on back and paddle back up to this little island you can go around called Penny Island, and it's real casual, really beautiful. And
Sounds pretty idyllic.
this time of year, it's just phenomenal. It's just fantastic. There's very little fog. It's just incredible beauty. It's just very
How to
nice.
get kids to unplug from the.
That's what it's all about.
Nice.
It really is all about unplugging, engaging, looking at the sights. You really engage all your senses. I mean, your hearing, your sight, your smell, you see it all. But here's the cool part. You're traveling at a speed, we call it the speed of, if it's a bike tour, the speed of bike, because you're literally going fast enough to get somewhere, but not so fast that you miss things.
Mhm.
In a car, you're like, what was that?
Right.
What was that? What was that? Bike, you're like, cruise along. Oh, look, there's some guy in the field. What's he doing? Let's stop and take a look. Let's take a picture.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun.
Not to mention that when you're in a car, it's too easy for the kids in the back seat to completely ignore everything that's going by the windows.
If you're on a bike, you are engaged. Believe me,
Yeah.
and kids love biking. I mean, I take my kids out, and they love it.
If they do want to go fast, though, we do have zip lines here in Sonoma County too. So
Oh.
if you do want something a
If
little bit
you
more
want-
active, a little
You've
faster.
done the zip
I've
line.
done the zip lining, and that is a lot.
I've done the zip lining too.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of
It's one of those little, up in the redwoods.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
You do it to the
Slide
redwood trees
down.
from tree to tree. So
Right, and so can we touch on just redwoods for just a second here? So we're talking ancient redwood groves.
Armstrong Reserve.
Armstrong
An
Woods,
amazing
yeah.
place to go. We call it near woods without the crowds. Same basic.
well, now you said that the crowds are going to be there.
No. They're all in San Francisco. They're coming up to near woods, but this place is just equally nice. Equally big trees. The walk in the valley floor is like going into nature's cathedral. The sun filters through these big ancient trees. Look up, it's just majestic. The serenity of it all is amazing. You just totally just feel in nature. We do these little tours and hikes out there that are just so incredible. People just come out of there like loving it. So what we actually do on our tours is we combine the redwoods with the coast. We can do that all in one day.
It's all right in this general area.
Throw a little champagne in between, Corbel, a little champagne, and then eventually we have a little lunch at the coast.
Very
But
nice.
that's a really easy one to do, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great one for families. Champagne probably less so, but the
Right.
hiking and then going out the coast is nice too.
And so I hear there's one thing though that kind of breaks the serenity a little bit, and that's the cowbell. Tell me about this cowbell phenomenon.
The cowbell phenomenon, Brad, you're gonna have to enlighten me on that one because I
This
am
is
not.
the cyclist.
This
that-
is all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
that you're talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So cowbells on a bike race, if you will,
No.
is it's the traditional method to encourage your particular, your guy or gal,
Your rider
Your
or
rider.
your team.
and as you may know, you may not know, but there's the Tour of California coming back. To
Coming
Santa
back
Rosa.
in May of next year. So
All right.
And
if you're a bicycling fan, a cycling fan, you want to come see it, that would be the time to do it.
if you're a cyclist, hardcore cyclist, that's the time you want to be out here. So that's a lot of fun. And so the cowbell, now that you're mentioning the cowbell, it's when you're, especially going up a hill, they'll be clanking that cowbell big time to get their particular rider to little encouragement to get them going and all that. And that's a lot of fun. Yeah, we get a lot of residual from that. People come out.
End up coming out year round for the cycle.
Yeah.
Because you do quite a few cycling tours. You even do the adult ones with wine and.
Yeah, actually,
To the vineyards.
our one of our major things is I think we have Merlot Mom on here, I believe. So if you're interested in wine,
She's just got like the best hair.
I love that.
It's so memorable. A liter.
So we have
Suitcase
our trip called the Sip and Cycle, which is just that. You're sipping wine as you put through the vineyards, and sun in your face, wind at your back. It's love and life. You see the vineyards, especially this time of year with the college age.
Yeah.
That's tons of fun. We have a new trip called the Pints and Pedals, which is essentially a beer tour. As you alluded to, we go to the Santa Rosa Brewing Company and have a little taste there. That's the Holy Grail breweries. As you can tell, the Blind V Youngers, they're famous wine, famous beer that everybody loves. We also have, by the way, Bike and Safari.
That's right.
With Aphrodite, if we do that, and that's a lot of fun too, especially for kids, because there's a winery involved with that, but it's a lot of fun too. So.
Yeah.
Do you do anything with the Luther Burbank Gardens?
Not that much, no.
Okay.
No, we really focus on sort of off the beaten path trails, small family wineries, kayaking is really in nature. We want to have the kids see wildlife, blue herons, snowy egrets, merganser ducks, mallard ducks, fish. It's incredible.
Very nice.
Can you tell us a little bit about I know because the Luther Burbank Gardens are really famous and he's one of
Luther Burbank actually moved to Sonoma County, and we have the Luther Burbank Home and Gardens dedicated after him. For those of you who don't know, the Burbank potato, one of the most popular potatoes, the Shasta Daisy, there's quite a few.
Plums, I think.
The plums, the Santa Rosa plums. Yeah. His famous quote is, "I think I found the most chosen spot on earth," or something close to that, referring to Santa Rosa and Sonoma County, just because of the weather, the outdoors, the nature.
You were supposed to say that in 3 minutes because that's like the perfect closing
line.
Really.
It really is the perfect chosen spot
Yes.
of all on earth, just because of natural beauty and they get outdoors and the chance to really unplug sometimes. But we do have, don't worry, I was vacationing somewhere where there was no Wi-Fi and signals were terrible. We have plenty of signals Wi-Fi here, plenty of Wi-Fi spots. So if you do need to connect, check those emails.
We're also 1 hour north of San Francisco, so we are plenty tech friendly.
In the tech hub, exactly.
Easy to get to. Like I said, you pretty much got connecting flights from anywhere on earth into San Francisco Airport.
San Francisco, Oakland.
Very convenient into Oakland as well. So you can come up over the Golden Gate Bridge or come over the
And who doesn't like to drive across the Golden Gate Bridge?
Oh,
I mean, if you've never done it, you have to do a drive across the Golden Gate Bridge at least once, or stop and walk across it on your way to Sonoma County. You really do.
So for people who are coming maybe from farther away and want to experience the best of Northern California, we kind of offer that city country experience. And, when you're in Santa Rosa, you've got really the benefit of being immersed in wine country, but you've still got those conveniences of being in a city. So, especially for families, there's some place that's going to have kid-friendly food.
Yeah, definitely. That's where you're going to find in Santa Rosa.
I think the cuisine is world-class here.
Yeah.
It's just, you could compare that to anywhere.
Definitely where kids are happy, but the adults are just as happy. Because sometimes if the kids are happy, the adults